They say the forest has a voice, a whisper that can be heard by those who truly listen, a voice that speaks of ancient secrets, of forgotten horrors, and of creatures that walk the earth in the dead of night. In the heart of Northern California, where the tall trees stand like silent sentinels, lies a hunting ground steeped in legend, a place where the line between myth and reality blurs. This is the story of a hunter, a man who ventured deep into those woods, seeking adventure and a chance to test his skills. But what he found was far more than he bargained for. A terrifying encounter that shattered his reality and left him forever changed. A chilling tale of survival, of the unseen forces that dwell in the shadows, and the enduring power of fear. Now we delve into the heart of darkness, where the forest itself seems to hold its breath, and the whispers of the unknown threaten to consume us all. Strange sightings, unknown entities, and lost souls. Step into the abyss and welcome to Weird Encounters, a place where the ordinary fades into shadow and the unexplainable comes alive. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and join our ever-growing community of the curious. Your support is the lifeblood that keeps this channel alive. Now, prepare yourself, for what you're about to witness is not for the faint of heart. The air hung heavy with the scent of pine needles and damp earth, the pre-dawn sky a bruised purple. It was early winter in Northern California, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones. My hunting partner, John, shivered, pulling his coat tighter around him. We were deep in the forest, miles from the nearest road, on land that had once belonged to the ancient Miwok people. They called it the place where spirits walk. And as we ventured further into the woods, I began to understand why. John, a man of few words, was the most experienced hunter I knew. He'd practically grown up in the woods. He was a fantastic tracker and survivalist. But even he seemed a little uneasy this morning. We were tracking a large buck. Its antlers would be legendary. The snow, though light, had fallen the night before, making our movements muffled, the silence almost deafening. Then it happened. A sound, guttural and horrifying, ripped through the stillness. It was unlike anything I'd ever heard before. A mixture of animal and human, a grotesque parody of a dying man. John froze, his eyes wide with terror. Before I could answer, I saw it. Moving through the trees, a monstrous figure, tall and gaunt, its limbs long and skeletal. It moved with an unnatural bending. It was fast and blended seamlessly with the shadows and trunks of the trees. Its face was tough to make out. John gasped. It looked like a demon to me. It was not of this earth. I remember a searing pain. Then the world went black. I remember waking a few minutes later to the pungent smell of death. John. Where was John? I scrambled to my feet, my head pounding, but I was okay. No blood. I looked around, frantically searching for any sign of him. His rifle, his backpack, his hat, all gone. But my pack and gear was all still there. Panic clawed at my throat. I called out his name. I searched the area for hours. There were no tracks, no signs of a struggle, not even a single disturbed twig. It was as if he had simply vanished. Terror gripped me. Venturing further into the depths of this eerie forest filled me with dread. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent shivers down my spine. I felt like I was being watched, hunted, but I never saw anything. The forest felt like it was closing in around me. The air grew colder, the shadows deeper, and the silence more profound. I could almost feel the eyes upon me, watching, waiting. As I stumbled deeper into the woods, I tried to rationalize. Perhaps John had been spooked by the creature and had run off, seeking shelter. Perhaps he had fallen, injured, and was now lost. But with each passing hour, these hopes dwindled, replaced by a chilling certainty. I spent the next few hours desperately searching, my voice hoarse from calling out. I found nothing. No tracks, no blood, no sign of a struggle. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the forest floor, I knew I had to give up. I was alone, lost, and utterly terrified. I spent the night huddled beneath a thick blanket of pine boughs, shivering uncontrollably. The sounds of the forest, amplified in the darkness, seemed to mock my fear. The eerie rustling of unseen creatures, all of it seemed to whisper of impending doom. Dawn brought a sliver of hope. Exhausted and disoriented, I stumbled upon a cabin, a ramshackle structure that offered some semblance of shelter. A deformed old man lived there. He could hardly speak. Someone had to have been taking care of him, but I didn't see or hear anyone else, nor would he tell me. His face etched with the lines of a lifetime spent in these woods. He listened to my story with a grave expression. He mumbled, but would not say what it was, his voice just barely above a whisper. "They can make you vanish," is all he said over and over with a sinister laugh. He told me of other disappearances, of hunters, hikers, campers, and loggers who had ventured too deep into the woods and never returned. He spoke of an ancient burial ground, strange symbols, and of the chilling sounds that echoed through the trees at night. He said I would never find the burial grounds. He said that I would never see my friend again. He told me how to leave the forest. There was no road to his cabin or anything. No electricity, nothing, and it was deep in the woods. I couldn't help but think this man or someone he knew had something to do with John's disappearance. It was so strange and scary. I felt like I was being watched. Leaving the woods, I felt a profound sense of relief that I was alive, but also a lingering unease. I knew that I would never forget the horrors I had witnessed, the chilling silence, the terrifying sounds, and the chilling certainty that something truly evil lurked within the depths of that forest. John was never found. His disappearance remains a mystery, a chilling reminder of the unseen forces that dwell in the shadows of the wilderness. And I, forever marked by that encounter, carry the weight of his loss and the chilling memory, a constant reminder of the darkness that lies just beneath the surface of our world. The search, however, unearthed some disturbing discoveries. Deep within the woods, we found the ancient burial ground, not of animals, not of humans. There were massive skulls, unlike anything any of the biologists could identify. Alongside them, we found strange, unsettling artifacts, intricately carved wooden figures with vacant, staring eyes, and crudely fashioned tools that seemed to defy any known purpose. And then, there were the old bones. Human bones, weathered and brittle, scattered amongst the debris, and the clothing, tattered and torn, hinting at lives lived long ago, lives shrouded in mystery. The searchers also reported hearing the same terrifying sounds, guttural moans, chilling shrieks that echoed through the trees, sending shivers down their spines. Some of the locals spoke of ancient legends, of creatures that walked through the woods at night. They would not call them by name, spirits of the starving, they said. Malevolent entities that preyed on the unwary. The game wardens, initially skeptical, began to reconsider their stance. They found skulls, and the size and shape was unlike any known animal. Whispers grew louder, and they were calling it something I choose not to repeat. Others said it was fake. "I've heard stories," one of the older game wardens told me, his voice trembling, stories of people disappearing in these woods. Hunters, loggers, and campers. They'd vanish without a trace. Some said they were taken by this thing. The forest, once a place of beauty and tranquility, now seemed to pulsate with an unseen terror. We found that old cabin, but nobody was there. Actually, it didn't look like anyone has been there for 50 years. There were whispers of other ancient cabins and structures hidden deep within the recesses of the woods, so maybe we were at the wrong one, but I swear the same chair that man was sitting in was there. "You can't go there in those woods," one searcher said. "The place is cursed. They are real." The experts, of course, offered more conventional explanations. Hallucinations, they said, brought on by the extreme cold and isolation. Delusions born of fear and exhaustion, and that I passed out. John went off to get help and got lost, but the evidence, the chilling sounds, the unsettling discoveries, and that strange cabin all pointed to something more sinister. Having witnessed the terror, having felt the icy grip of fear, could no longer dismiss these stories and legends. After doing some research, I found that the entities that might live there are not confined to this corner of California. There were whispers of them in the forests of New York, in the deep woods of Pennsylvania, in the shadowy depths of the North Carolina mountains. Even in the Rockies, in the desolate expanses of Colorado and especially Utah, tales of men that sold their soul and turned into strange demon creatures. After weeks of searching, John was never found. He vanished without a trace, just like the others, and was swallowed by the insatiable maw of the forest. It was so tough to tell his family what happened. They think I am insane and that there's more to this story. I wish I had more to tell them. It's truly heartbreaking, and I miss my friend. I left those woods a changed man. The beauty of the forest was now tainted with a chilling dread. The silence no longer offered peace, but rather a constant reminder of the unseen dangers that lurked within. I urge you, if something doesn't feel right, then turn back. There are some places man was never meant to go. Our next story takes place in the Emerald Triangle, where the redwoods whisper secrets in the wind. There lies a darkness that only a few have witnessed. This story is about a man who spent his life patrolling these woods with a rifle on his shoulder. He thought he'd seen it all. But the truth is, some things in the wilderness defy explanation. Some things are best left undisturbed. They call this place the Emerald Triangle. Lush, green, a paradise for some, a hell for others. I know it well. For years I patrolled these woods, a badge on my chest, a rifle on my shoulder. But even I, a man who's seen his fair share of wildlife, wasn't prepared for what I encountered that day. You see, I'm a gun guy. Grew up with them. My father, a hunter, taught me the respect, the responsibility. I run the shooting range here at the park, a sanctuary for marksmanship. But that day, in the heart of this emerald paradise, something primal, something ancient, shattered my sense of control. I was sighting in a new rifle, a beauty, and I wanted to see how it handled, test its accuracy. My family has owned land nearby for generations, quiet acres bordering the forest, the perfect spot for a bit of target practice. The air was crisp, the woods still. I should have heeded the warning signs. An unsettling chill, a sense of unease that crept over me as I navigated the dense undergrowth. I dismissed it, chalked it up to the weather, the isolation. But the deeper I ventured, the stronger the feeling grew. It was like the forest itself was watching, judging. I felt a primal fear, a fear older than myself, older than this very land. Then the smell. A sickeningly sweet rot, a stench that clung to the air like a shroud. And there, just off the trail, a grotesque tableau. A mangled creature, unrecognizable, its fur matted with blood. A chilling reminder of the brutal order of nature. I reached my usual spot, the field bathed in the pale winter sun. I loaded the magazine, each round a potential bullet of reassurance. But then, a sound, a deep, guttural growl, echoing through the trees. I spun around, heart pounding. Nothing. Just the rustling of leaves, the whisper of the wind. but the fear remained within me. And then, I saw it. Emerging from the thick underbrush, a creature unlike anything I had ever witnessed. 8 feet tall at least, moving with an eerie grace on 2 legs. Its skin, a sickly shade of brown, hung loose, revealing glimpses of bone. It resembled a man, grotesquely elongated, its limbs impossibly long, its movements fluid, yet somehow unnatural. The stench, overpowering, seemed to emanate from the creature itself. I fumble, my fingers clumsy with terror. The bolt wouldn't budge. Panic surged. I was paralyzed, my weapon useless. The creature continued its silent procession, its eyes, if it had eyes, hidden by the shadows. It moved with a chilling indifference. Then, I heard it. A sound that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the earth, a guttural moan that sent shivers down my spine. I froze, every sense on high alert. The hollow eyes were closer now, mere feet away. I could feel the heat of its rancid breath on my face, the stench of decay overwhelming. I scrambled to my feet. I stumbled, my foot catching on a gnarled root. I crashed to the ground, the wind knocked out of me. The creature loomed over me, its elongated form silhouetted against the fading light. Its skeletal hand reached out, its touch icy cold. Its grip was like iron. I tried to scream. Then something startled it. Something, and I'm not sure what it was, burst from the undergrowth, colliding with the creature. The demon-looking creature staggered back. I seized the opportunity, scrambling to my feet, my heart pounding like a drum. I turned and ran, not daring to look back, my legs pumping like pistons. I didn't stop running until I reached the safety of the clearing, my lungs burning, my body trembling uncontrollably. The forest, once a place of solace, now felt like an entity, eager to claim another victim. I never returned to that part of the woods. The memory of its touch, the chilling proximity of death, still haunts me to this day. It just vanished into the depths of the forest, leaving behind an oppressive silence, broken only by the frantic beating of my own heart. I stood there, trembling, my mind reeling. What in God's name had I just seen? The incident rattled me to the core. That forest had changed. The silence was no longer peaceful, but heavy with unspoken threats. I started talking around town about my encounter and asking others if they've ever seen anything like that. The whispers began soon after. Old-timers, their faces etched with the lines of countless winters, spoke of a creature of legend, an evil demonic spirit. "Heard tell of it snatching folks off the trail," one grizzled trapper confided, his voice a low growl. "Starvin' beast, always hungry, never satisfied." Another, a park ranger with more years on the job than he cared to admit, recounted a series of unsettling events. Animal carcasses found mutilated, strange death like howls echoing through the night, the unsettling feeling of being watched. "Some say it's just a bear," he'd said, his eyes fixed on a distant horizon. "But I've seen things in these woods, things that can't be explained." Dr. Emily Carter, a wildlife biologist, offered a more scientific explanation. "Could be a rogue bear," she suggested, her voice measured. "Perhaps a genetic anomaly, a creature driven mad by starvation." But her explanation felt inadequate, a feeble attempt to rationalize the irrational. I, for one, wasn't convinced. The creature I saw was something more than just an animal. It was a force of nature, a manifestation of evil. And while I may never know the truth, the memory of that encounter, the chilling indifference of that monstrous figure will forever haunt me. The Emerald Triangle, once a place of solace, now holds a darkness I may never fully understand. The Emerald Triangle remains a place of both beauty and mystery. While the scientific explanations for the strange occurrences may seem plausible, there's a part of me, a part of all of us, that yearns for something more. A reminder that the wilderness, in all its grandeur, still holds secrets beyond our comprehension. Secrets that whisper of the unknown, of forces beyond our control. And sometimes, in the quiet of the night, I hear those whispers too. A chilling reminder that the darkness in the woods may be deeper than we ever imagined. My dear watchers, your presence is a gift. Thank you for your time, your curiosity, your courage. But remember, there are others who wander, unaware of the dangers that await. By liking this video and subscribing, you offer them a light in the darkness. Support our channel and keep the stories coming, simply by giving a thumbs up and subscribing and sharing.